Apple TV was never on my radar. I was stuck with a satellite dish connection for the past decade, paying for channels that I never even watched. And on top of that, every time it rained, the signal dropped off. This frustration nudged me to look for alternatives, and I picked up the 2022 Apple TV 4K. Now that it's been over a year since I made the switch, I can hands down say Apple TV is not just another streaming box, it's an experience. I was taken aback by the speed from the moment I turned it on. The interface immediately felt familiar. From the icons, the transitions, the animations, everything screams Apple. Under the hood, it houses the powerful A15 Bionic chipset, the same one from the iPhone 14, which is almost 3 years old at this point of time, but in the world of TV OS, it's miles ahead of its competition. Boot up is instantaneous, apps launch like butter, consistent frame rates all across, no hiccups, which is a real pleasure. It's one of those things that you don't really appreciate unless you come from a laggy TV or until you go back to one. I can also multitask just like I do on my iPhone. Thanks to 4GB of RAM, it keeps all the apps in memory. Speaking of the setup process, it was a breeze. I just had to bring my iPhone nearby and it seamlessly sent over my Apple ID, Wi-Fi settings and preferences. No typing was needed. It's actually the remote that elevates the experience to a whole another level. You know what? I took some time off the screen just to admire how sleek and minimal it looks and feels in my hand. Oh, and the circular scroll wheel is reminiscent of the classic iPod Nano, which we all fell in love with. I also love how while scrolling through Netflix, I can not only swipe side to side, but also clockwise to advance and anti-clockwise to rewind. I found this precision to be particularly handy while playing games like Sneak.io, more on that later. The sensitivity could be a bit jarring, requiring a slight learning curve for some, but you can tweak it in the settings if they need erasers. But one thing you don't need anymore is searching your drawers for AAA batteries. Since this remote is rechargeable with Type-C, I've only had to charge it very few times in the past year. All the buttons, including the touchpad, are clickable and tactile. There is a satisfying click that makes every press deliberate, never mushy. When I press, I know I've pressed. The Siri button sitting on the side is easily my most clicked button. I just hold it down and say something like Prime, and bam, it takes me straight to the Amazon Prime app. I frequently use this for YouTube. I just say Prankster Rahul on YouTube and it jumps right to the search results without me having to type a single letter. I also noticed the voice search to be really accurate for the most part, but as always it does struggle with local names, which is kind of funny. Beyond search, I can ask Siri to rewind or forward when I'm watching something. Fast forward 30 minutes. Another hidden trick is if I've missed some part of the dialogue, I can ask Siri what did he say and it will rewind a few seconds and temporarily turn on the captions just for that part. How cool is that? I feel Siri on the Apple TV feels more purposeful and better than its iPhone counterpart. There is also this low-key useful feature to locate the remote if I happen to lose it. All I have to do is open the remote app on my iPhone. I keep mine on the control center for quick access, tap find and follow the on-screen prompts. It's not as accurate as tracking an AirTag, but still it's a nice to have. Or else if I'm too lazy to even go look for the remote, I just use my iPhone to control the entire TV. That includes adjusting volume, scrubbing and also typing. As soon as I am about to type something on the TV, I get a pop-up on my phone so I can type anything out. No more clicking letter by letter with the remote. I can even control the TV using my Apple Watch. You have no idea how much convenient all these have been for me. The point is, convenience is the biggest perk of owning an Apple TV. Apple TV pretty much has me covered when it comes to streaming apps. From airplays like Netflix, Amazon Prime and Disney Plus to regional favorites like Sun Next, Sony Live and Z5. It's all here. Plus, if there is a movie or a show that's geo-restricted, there are VPN apps on the App Store. I'm currently trying out Proton VPN for a month and I'm able to stream How I Met Your Mother without having any interruptions. One of the major reasons why I switched from the satellite to the Apple TV is because of a sweet bundle from my internet provider. It's called Act Superstar Plan. It gives me 200 Mbps speed plus free subscriptions to platforms that I otherwise had to pay. This covers almost 90% of my streaming needs. Amazon Prime is an exception, but I already have that for delivery, so I'm sorted. If my calculations are correct, I was paying a hefty amount for channels that I barely watched. This switch has helped me cut my expenses and save enough to justify buying another shiny Apple product. But let me remind you, the biggest positive of buying the Apple TV is it's a one-time buy and there is no monthly recharge. It retails around $14,900 in India and $179 in the US, and it entirely works off of internet. Some people could ask me, what if your internet goes down? In that case, I can use my phone's hotspot and keep going. Again, I have to make something very clear. If something is working for me, it doesn't mean that it has to work for you, and that's totally okay. With that said, there are a few caveats as well, especially coming from the satellite TV. Number one, the TV guide. With satellite TV, you get a holistic view of what's hiring right now, what just finished, and what's coming up, neatly categorized across all channels. Apple tries to mimic the same with a feature called Up Next. If you're watching a series and a new episode drops, it shows up right on your home screen. It's okay, but in my observation, it does not work across all apps, and it's nowhere near the convenience of a traditional TV guide. I now rely on this app called Plex that I've come to really appreciate. Aside from a decent collection of free but ad-supported movies and shows, it doubles as a TV concierge. Like, if I have no idea which platform a movie is streaming on, I can search it up on Plex and it tells me where to watch it, and I can also launch it directly from here. Super handy. But one thing that's not so handy is the lack of channel hopping. Some days we all have this feeling when we don't really know what to watch and we keep hopping between channels until settling with something that matches our mood. This is kind of hard with the Apple TV. You have to open each app individually and then dig through its catalog, back out, keep going back and forth between apps, which does break the flow. I've gotten used to it, but this was a real shift for my parents. It took a little convincing and quite a bit of walkthrough before they got comfortable. Apple Arcade is such a nice value add to the Apple TV. I have no idea why my dad is so into Angry Birds, and I have to admit, he's actually better than me. Personally, I've been weirdly addicted to this game named Snake.io. You start off as this tiny little worm. You just have to get bigger and bigger by consuming others around you and survive as long as you can. Basically, modern politics in a game form. You can even swap your snake skin, kind of like how politicians switch alliances and ideologies between elections. I swear every time I play this game I feel like a politician. The name says it all. My personal best so far is around 69k. If you beat that, flex it in the comments. Asphalt 8 is another classic which is super fun and it plays surprisingly well with the remote. But for making it more immersive, I sometimes pair my old PlayStation controller via Bluetooth, which gives off a console-like vibe. But do note, Apple Arcade is subscription based and it's bundled with iCloud's Apple One. Arcade opens up a whole world of games with zero ads and no in-app purchases pestering for money.
Oh shit, here we go again.
But there is this OG I still get a kick out of, GTA San Andreas. Call me old school, but I love it. Unfortunately, it's not available on the Apple TV, but since it's on my phone, so what I do is use AirPlay to screen mirror and play on the big screen. No delay, no stutter, only fun. Not only that, there have been so many times when a friend or a family member drops by and I'm like, check this out. And I beam photos and videos off of my iPhone straight to the TV effortlessly. And yeah, AirPlay works with the MacBook too. I can mirror or even extend my Mac screen. The reason why all these devices go well together is because of the ecosystem. Take my AirPods for instance. They seamlessly connect via Bluetooth and I can enjoy whatever I'm watching without disturbing anyone around. Apple Music is another highlight. All my playlists show up right here and I particularly enjoy this feature where lyrics sync line by line, beat by beat, really smooth. All my photos and videos that are synced with iCloud are here too. I can take FaceTime calls directly from here. Video calls are possible as well using iPhone as a webcam. Center stage is also supported here, a feature that uses the iPhone's ultra-wide camera to smoothly pan and zoom to keep me centered in the frame of a video call. Apple TV also acts as a hub for controlling smart home devices. I don't own any as of now. Sadly, Hikvision cameras in my house are not HomeKit compatible, but HomeKit is something I'm really keen to explore down the line. Screensavers are actually beautiful. You get high resolution shots of cities, oceans, mountains, and much more. And I can even set photos of my choice from my own gallery, which is a nice touch. Home screen itself is clean and simple. No unnecessary clutter. I can move things around and create folders to keep them organized. Also, Apple TV lets everyone in the house have their own profile. That means each profile gets their own up next queue and personalized content. Built-in sleep timer is a small feature that I didn't know I needed. I was honestly scratching my head trying to figure out how to frame this video. Should it be Apple TV versus satellite, or maybe it should be Apple TV versus other streaming boxes, but more I thought about it, the more I felt like I'm comparing apples to oranges. So instead, I just chose to share the perks and then point out the caveats. See, I'm not advocating you to go out and buy the Apple TV. I bought it because my 5-year-old TV was practically obsolete and the Apple TV sort of revived it. And since I'm already part of the Apple ecosystem, it made more sense. I do not have a 4K TV, but in case you do, that would take your experience to a whole another level. Just a heads up, I've been hearing the 2025 version of the Apple TVs around the corner. So if you can wait, that'll be worth your wait. But until you wait, do check out my video I made on the Apple CarPlay a couple of months ago. Thanks for sticking around. Take care.